The best individual preparation of all for the Malhamah is the Quran. The best gift you can give your child is to teach your child to recite the Quran. But I have news for you. I don't think we're going to have any Hafiz of the Quran in the future. From any child born and grow up in the city. I think it's going to be impossible. The only Hafiz of the Quran you will have in the future will be a child born in the remote countryside and who grew up without using a smartphone. That child will become a Hafiz of the Quran. And all your children growing up, their memory damaged and some of them destroyed. If you lose your memory, you cannot think. And Allah sent the Quran لِقَوْمِ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, for a people who think. The best way to prepare for the Malhamah is to recite the Quran every day. The Quran has to be recited from cover to cover. That's the way to recite the Quran. You don't have 25 people reciting to make a khatam of the Quran. You have to recite the Quran from cover to cover. And when you finish, you start again, and when you finish, you start again. And you have to recite the Quran at least once a month. At least once a month. Which month? January or February? No, the lunar month. If you're reciting the Quran every day in Arabic, that is the beginning of the process of preparing yourself. So one day the Quran will enter into your heart, hopefully before the Malhamah. And now listen to me. When the Quran enters into your heart, you will never know what is loneliness. No. When the Quran enters into your heart, you will never know what is depression. No? So, if you recite the Quran every day, regularly, from cover to cover, it does something for your heart. But that's only the beginning of the story. You must know what you're reciting. If you're reciting the Quran and you never cry, the tears never fell from your eye. Why? Because you're not understanding anything that you recite. So when you begin to understand what you're reciting, how can you recite the Quran and you never cried? How can you perform Salatul Taraweeh night after night and you never cried? Why? Because you didn't understand. That's the second stage. But there's a third stage which comes after that, when you can understand what you're reciting. And it is in the third stage that you fall in love. The greatest love of your life must be the love of the Quran. And you will fall in love with the Quran when you start to study the Quran. And you use methodology for study of the Quran. And there are millions of pearls at the bottom of the Quran, millions of pearls. And one day Allah will allow you to dive down in the Quran, and when you pick up a pearl that no one has ever seen before, oh how nice you will feel. That's preparation for the Malhamah.